moderate, which is absolutely out of my purview. But the team has been intelligent enough to give me masters of their subject as panelists for my rescue. So they are going to answer your questions. I am just here to put some questions. I have as panelist Dr. Arjun Jagdisha from Bangalore. He is MD Medicine. Diabetes is as an epidemic or pandemic, whatever you call, and because it is a lifestyle problem, most of the time it is associated with obesity and hyperglycemia. And so much YouTube reels are there, so many persons giving their advice on the diet intake. And oil, rice, potato, mango, all these things which have got a high glycemic index, should they be taken or included in a healthy diabetic diet is the question of the panel today. So, I ask my first question. Common misconceptions about the diabetic diet: oil, ghee, rice, potatoes and mangoes. Now, potato is a staple vegetable used all over the world in so many recipes. So, how can a diabetic person stay without consuming potatoes? So, my first question to the panelists is, can potatoes be included in a diabetic diet?
So, good afternoon everybody. I've just said I thank the organizing team for making me a part of this PDA club. Every year I come, but it's always nice to come to Kanpur. I'm coming directly from the airport here, directly from the airport to the hall. So, in the flight, madam, they didn't give me any potatoes there. But potatoes are one of the things which is most relished across India as well as across globe. Whichever form you take, whether it is fried potato or smashed potatoes or baked potatoes. I used to work in UK where the lunch was only smashed potatoes. I was wondering what to eat here. Only they would have smashed it and salt and pepper and a little bit of beans. That was their lunch. I was always wondering, because I'm from South, we always eat some rice, always like to eat some craving for rice. Potatoes was there. But then once you realize why potato has become famous across the globe, it is one of the favorite vegetable across the globe. Why? Because it is more of starchy vegetables, in the sense that more of starch is there. If you are hungry, so once you eat a potato in any form, that gives a fullness in the stomach. The fullness in the sense because of the less of slow digestion happens and the hunger pangs are taken care. In the sense that once you take any form of potatoes, that will reduce your hunger pangs. And moreover, if you take the nutrition, few potatoes are less in glycemic index. It also depends upon how you prepare and how you cook, in what way you cook. So what you see in TV ads or radio ads or whatever it is, those may not be very good. But practically, if you take smashed potatoes and all, so it is rich in fiber, rich in vitamins, rich in minerals, and low. If you prepare well, it is low in glycemic index also. That is definitely good for diabetes control as well.
Thank you. But you must take potato with the skin of the potato because it is very rich in fiber and vitamins. So potatoes with the skin is better than taking potatoes without the skin. Do you agree with it? Next is, what is glycemic index and why do we have to think of potatoes in a diabetic diet?
I also wanted to mention something more about potatoes. Potatoes are like black trousers. You can wear them for any occasion. So basically the ways in which you can consume it in a safer manner. So potatoes in a larger quantity definitely will raise your sugar. So you can have a smaller amount of potatoes. Potatoes, if they are chilled or if they are with skin or if they are boiled or steamed, have a lower glycemic index. But if you deep fry them, then the glycemic index rises dramatically. So the form in which they are consumed is very important. Also, if if you can mix potatoes with low caloric items like salads, again the glycemic index and glycemic load will go down, and this will lead to lesser rise of post-prandial peaks, because everything now revolves around the insulin peaks. If the insulin peaks with any food, then it is bad for you because it will lead to weight gain and all the metabolic complications. So you have to keep your insulin profile a little flatter with foods which are sort of amenable, which do not lead to insulin spikes. So potato, basically the way you consume it, the quantity, you should not take more than one medium-sized potato in a meal basically. So the quantity you consume, the manner in which you prepare, the ingredients with which you mix these foods is very, very important basically. You can take practically anything basically, but everything has to be meticulously planned, that it has to be a thing which has a higher calories, has to mix with things with lower calories so that you can consume it safely.
Potatoes. Basically, it's been always a scary vegetable for all the diabetic patients, and whenever the patient is being diagnosed, सबसे पहले क्वेश्चन यही होता है, मैम क्या अब मैं पोटैटो या आलू कभी नहीं खा सकता हूँ? Our panelists have already given talk about this. I'll talk about the figures. Now, potatoes can be taken by the diabetic patients, and it is can be used in a better way when we know the type of the potatoes. There are various types of potatoes which have a different glycemic response to the blood sugar. Like the white potatoes, which is charisma potatoes, they have a very low GI of 53. And if any of the food is having a GI less than 50 or around 50 to 60, it's supposed to be a very low GI. We don't talk about the only GI, we talk about the glycemic load even, and glycemic load is also around 20. So definitely it's a little bit higher, but charisma potato, that is a white potato, just look like white potatoes, huh? They are very low in GI. And in comparison to those potatoes which are, I must say even the freshly harvested potatoes are also having very low GI because they have almost 1% of the starch storage. Now this newly harvested potatoes when been stored in the cold storage, what it happens, it starts storing more of carbon starches, around 5 to 6%, and that increases the glycemic index. Now there are various technologies which have been used for cold storage, like potatoes been treated with N-isopropyl and chlorophenyl carbamides that restrict the storage of carbohydrates in the potatoes. So it's been a very nice way to give those potatoes to the diabetic patients? Definitely yes. And the most important thing, that what the sir also said, that the cooking methods actually decreases the glycemic response of the potatoes. Like if you boil the potatoes, the GI reduced to around 53, and when you bake that potato, it will just increase a little bit around 69. Then if you just mashed it, if you're having a bharta of aloo bharta kha liya, please don't ask their diabetic patients to take mashed potatoes because their GI reached up to around say 80. And don't think we don't recommend those 80 glycemic index foods to the diabetic patients. So just changing the cooking methods can be helpful for giving the potatoes in their diet. Apart from that, if you want to, now if you are having the potatoes in a portion size, if you are controlling the portion size, definitely it's because potatoes are a very good source of starch, so portion control is the key solution to all the problems, I think so now. Apart from that, what Sir said, if you combine the potatoes with those foods which are very high in proteins, definitely it's going to reduce it. एक और तरीका होता है which is supposed to be a resistant starch. Now resistant starch is what? It resists almost 40% of the carbohydrates from the potatoes. How you do that? you just boil the potatoes or the rice, put it in the refrigerator, and after that you can use and consume it. Ideally in a room temperature, you'll be having less glycemic response. Have any of you all have tried for the resistant starch food products? Anyone? Acha. Okay, because in my 20 years career, I've been using this concept of resistant starch, but almost 10% is being seen in our. Practically, I'm not able to get a response. I might need to do a lot of more work on this. But it's a laboratory work. But resistant starch is a thing which reduces the glycemic response, but it is not very much practically being used, or we have to work on more on it. I say it is reducing that is the white potatoes which I was talking about. So they have a GI of 53. That's what they are doing with the cold storage partners. They are reducing the glycemic responses, but it's just again, if you're taking in a high amount, it is again having a carbohydrates of 15%.
So I think
there's a glitch in that also. When you mash your potato, the GI definitely increases by 80. Why? Because the surface area is higher. Yeah. So that's the thing. Even अभी जब हम rice के भी बारे में बात करेंगे, then also we'll talk about that also. Because GI depends on many factors. How much the carbohydrates being exposed to your body, to digestion. Is it easily digested? Definitely their GI will be high.
Quickly, would you repeat the resistance starch concept?
Okay, the resistant starch is what? It is basically whenever your high starchy foods, when it's been cooked and then it's been refrigerated. When it's been refrigerated, the carbohydrates have been in an intact form. When it's intact form, it is not readily available. And that's the reason why almost 40% of the glycemic response has been reduced. And when you consume it, those resistant starch won't spike your blood sugar levels. But the one part is this, that if you consume it in more, you are increasing your calorie intake in your diet. So glycemic response of any of the body, of the blood, don't only depends on the carbohydrate, also depends on the calories. So if you're taking a resistant starch in a small portion, you can take it.
Does parboiling also have an effect?
Yes, sir. Parboiled also have an effect. Yeah.
Another thing which I would like to point out about potato is that it is high progression. So that is also one of the great qualities of Another thing about potatoes is that it is having a higher potassium content. So in patients who have hypertension and such diseases, it is also beneficial there also.
I think we have covered this topic. Sweet potatoes are better than potatoes.
So the sweet potato, the name is sweet, but definitely it can be taken by diabetes patient because it is rich in fibers, mainly rich in minerals and rich in vitamins, and it has got and because
Potatoes, baked, boiled, mashed, and French fries was significantly associated with increased levels of type 2 diabetes. So, summarizing, potatoes are a versatile and delicious vegetable, can be enjoyed by everyone, including the diabetes. Because of their high carb content, we should limit portion sizes, always eat the same, and choose low GI varieties. In addition, it's best to stick with boiling, baking, or steaming, and avoid samosas and fried potatoes, potato chips. And intake is about 100 to 150 grams per serving. This is one medium boiled potato. Now coming to the next food items.
Quickly, one question. Can you quickly differentiate between sweet potato, shakar and aloo? Sweet potato, and the difference?
The sweet potatoes have more of minerals and the fibers which restrict the glycemic response of that food. So that's the reason we can have a sweet potato around 100 to 150 grams, even 200 grams also, in comparison to just having 150 to 100 grams of potatoes.
There is rice in diabetes. So my next question is, what type of rice are more diabetes friendly?
Rice to eat are the brown rice, marbled rice, and the wide variety of rice. The wide variety of rice is actually very less readily available. It is a colored sort of rice and it has high manganese content. It is quite beneficial and the lower GI index is also less. Parboiled rice also is similar features at lower GI index compared to the white rice. And brown rice has a lot of bran and germ actually, which again is retarding the simple carbs and a higher glycemic peaks post middle state. So basically these rices which are the brown, the parboiled or the white rices are the preferred variety. But here again, as Dr. Smita has told, that if you prepare the rice and cool it or refrigerate it and then you heat it, and again brings down the GI index of these rices, making them more diabetes friendly. And again, here I reiterate that the quantity is very, very important. If you consume too much of any quantity of rice, it is going to, even if you take a kilo of ghas, it will be having glycemic load more, it will be of harm rather than benefit. So the quantity is very, very important. And here also, again, you have to prepare dishes like tahri or pulao, where you can mix it with cauliflower and such low caloric vegetables, so that you can enjoy a little more quantity with the lower glycemic index and lower glycemic load.
So in South India, especially in Bangalore, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, we are all more of rice eaters. Common question asked by patient is, how much do we consume? Like what are the types of rice we can consume? This is a very common question asked by every patient to us. So there are so many rice, as Dr. Akash Singh was telling, basmati rice, wild rice, white rice, paraboiled rice and all those things. In the example, this Rajmudi rice also is there, the red rice. So there are different types of rices available. But generally, if you take a gist of rice discussion is, white rice with small grains should be avoided, in the sense because there are less of nutrients, more of carbohydrate is there. The best is always to take a brown rice. It has got high nutrient value, germ content is very good in that. And paraboiled rice also, it's very good. For a diabetic patient, if you ask how much rice you advise, so generally it depends upon the carbohydrate content, carbohydrate amount the person needs per meal. So if you take, generally we say 1/3 of the glass of cooked rice, like 1/3 of the glass, maybe around 150 to 200 grams per meal it can be allowed. So this gives especially the brown rice, especially the paraboiled rice. In Mangalore, you have heard, there is more of sea coast where more of paraboiled rice is being taken. So which is very rich in nutritive values, less in glycemic index. So approximately 150 to 200 grams per meal can be allowed, cooked rice.
Can I add to it?
What's the way of cooking rice and how can you reduce the carb content of the rice?
Yeah. Before cooking, I would like to add one more thing. There are various types of rice which already Sir have told about. But not even if you're just taking white rice also, if you're taking a smaller grain rice, the smaller grain rice have always been a higher GI rather than the longer one. So that's why if you want to take a white rice, you can go with basmati rice or any rice with a long grains index and glycemic load of a rice. By just soaking or rinsing, we are reducing the glycemic index. Even if while cooking, if we add a small drop of ghee or vinegar, that also reduces the glycemic index of the rice. Most of the people are doing that, and it's really good habit if any of your patients have a diabetes.
प्रॉब्लम है वो कितना घी डालते हैं.
That's what I said. Small amount. Moderation is a key. If you are taking any good thing also in a large quantity, it will be definitely not at all.
What I suggest is that everybody should have small thali, small katoris and small spoons.
And small stomach.
They should eat slowly.
Ma'am, it is the perception. It is the perception. We talk about most of the things which we eat are not at all the physiological hunger. It is the emotion. So we have to tackle our emotions. We have to tackle our perception regarding your food.
The doctor has already talked about white rice. Any more comments on white rice?
Wild rice, you can see the color of the wild rice. So that makes less attractive. So rice is always people like to take in white form. So, but good thing about wild rice is much recommended rice actually, because it is rich in the nutrient content, especially the manganese. As Dr. Akash was telling, the manganese content is very good in this particular rice, and ALA is very good. ALA is good. Alpha lipoic acid is very good. This is particularly helpful for diabetic patients.
It doesn't look like rice.
It also is very tasty.
Already answered. We got to have a balance between taste and nutrients. But first thing, as you told, Smita just told the brain and the thought process. And the thought first goes to taste. And then the nutrients.
Yeah, I think so. If you put a little bit of oil in the while cooking your rice, it will be increasing, enhancing your taste buds. So, plate, and a small plate will only cover only small portion of the foods.
I use the word. अच्छे का मतलब और है. अच्छे का मतलब और है.
Exactly.
अच्छे का मतलब और.
That's true. That's true.
Rice is from the main thing is the dhan. It's come from the dhan, and another form of the dhan is chura. Whether chura is better than rice or not.
Yeah, yes. So the first thing, rice से बहुत सारी चीजें बनती हैं. The rice, puffed rice, flaked rice, whatever you said, poha. It's a flaked rice, puffed rice. Flaked rice have a low GI than the white rice, and puffed rice have more GI than the flaked rice. So लैया का जो glycemic index है वो थोड़ा ज़्यादा है, पोहा का कम है. So the diabetic patients can have poha in their breakfast.
So summarizing the rice, we can change the way you cook it. Instead of a pressure cooker, cook the rice in a vessel with lots of water, and once the rice has been cooked, drain the excess of water. Second is control portion sizes and frequency of rice intake. Twice a day, then you can do it twice a week, and you can cut down your rice intake. And third is maintain a healthy diet by adding vegetables, pulses, more protein to the rice, so it becomes more healthy for a diabetic patient. And choose the type of rice. So I think I summarized the rice. I'm skipping the fats and oils because we have another panel discussion on it. The time is getting short, so I come to mangoes now. Coming to the mangoes, which diabetics must avoid consuming mangoes. Is it true or false?
Mangoes are not bad for diabetics. They do not have that much high glycemic index as people generally think. But what happens is that, again here the excessive eating is the issue. If you take a mango or 100 to 150 grams of mango a day, you can split it 50 grams rice, or you take it 150 grams every time, and you combine it with high protein or less of simple carbs along with the mango. That basically would be quite okay basically if the sugars will not shoot to that extent. If you eat in excess or eat like in Gujarat, they prepare this mango bulb, they put a lot of ghee and lot of sugar in it. Amras they say, there is compulsory, they take throughout the season. All of these preparations are pretty bad for mango. So mango basically taken 100 to 150 grams a day, and then you have to cut it into small pieces so that you can enjoy it more, relish it more, rather than take a larger quantity. So all of those tricks basically again I have for the mango. Other mango is quite good, and there is no issue with the mango.
So mango, if you take, is a king of Asian fruits. You can say that it is a national fruit of our country. So India is ranked number 1 in mango production. Our US mangoes may be different from our mangoes. That is very important. The size of what happens when the mango season comes, most of us, I'm sure, the patient will come to us, doctor, don't scold me, my sugars are high because I have eaten mangoes. I have gained weight, my cholesterol is high because of mangoes. Everything they try to attribute to mango. But once you discuss with them what exactly is happening with you, they say they are eating 3 to 4 mangoes at a time. That is one. And that is what is happening is 400 calories per day adds on per day. So that becomes 12,000 calories per month. So this is the quotation I am taking from Dr. Anup Mishra's article, where he has analyzed this, where 12,000 calories per month is a huge thing. Those things will add adverse effects on the metabolic control. But if you take in a limited quantity, like 100 to 120 grams per day, the glycemic index is less than around 51, and glycemic load is around 8 to 8. So in this way, the mango can be definitely taken in a limited amount. The question is, the limited amount is very important. The other question the people will ask is, can I take raw mango? Definitely raw mango can be taken because it has got plenty of nutritive values, and it is definitely helpful for diabetes control as well. So mangoes is a myth, is a big thing. If somebody asks me, Dr. Arvind, what is your take on mango, whether I should take or not, whether I should advise to a patient or not, still it is debatable. Still it is debatable. It requires a lot of robust studies under frequent checking of glycemic parameters when you are doing these studies. So it's a difficult one to do, but it needs. If you take, when I looked into the reference, there are 10 studies there. Only 1 or 2 Indian studies. The rest all is from abroad. So we need more robust study, but very difficult to do. What I feel.
Definitely, we really need to go for a lot of research studies on each and every food, because every Indian foods have a different nutritive values than their foreign one. Now, I just want to add one thing. What Sir said, that raw mangoes are definitely perfectly good for diabetes. Why? Because the glycemic index of any of the fruit also depends on the ripeness. The fruit is, the extent of ripeness increases the glycemic index of that food. So if you are taking half ripened mangoes, then it's really good. Chutney, raw mango chutney, definitely yes, because it has a very low GI, almost 40. Simple, this mango is having 60 GI and just a load of 9, which is supposed to be a low glycemic load fruit. But if you're taking, again, the portion is the key to all the things. Half, जब हम कहते हैं छोटा सा आम खा लिया, एक आम आप खा सकते हैं, छोटा सा एक आम, तो वो छोटा आम बहुत बड़ा होता है for the diabetic patients. पूरी फैमिली के साथ खाएं. That's the most way to kill.
Actually, if you see the eating behaviors, one is a harmonic eating or prudent eating where we eat for meeting our caloric requirements, and the second is a hedonic eating where we eat for pleasure. So that hedonic eating instinct has to be curtailed if you want to basically control the calories and avoid getting into all these metabolic diseases.
One more thing we should remember, mango has got one bioactive compound, mangoferin. So easy to remember, mango has got mangoferin. That bioactive compound is an anti-inflammatory. It has got an anti-inflammatory action as well as glucose lowering agent. So in that way it is beneficial. But take home message is limited quantity of mangoes raw ripe mangoes, around 100 to 120 grams per day is allowed.
So
That's
how
one
we can
slice.
reduce
One
the
slice. One slice.
okay, what sir said that सबका family का
Is there a
as another
difference?
universe.
Juicy mango and the fleshy mango. The local mango and the hybrid mango.
Yeah.
The local mangoes made from the India part, in this part of the country, and the mango coming from outside. There is a difference in the glycemic index.
Exactly.
And if whether it should be taken by the diabetics, the local area, local mandate, this GI mangoes and the local public. Is it advisable or not?
Okay, the hybrid one have whatever the fruits, if they are very, अगर आप कहोगे कि local वाले जो देसी आम की जो बात करते हैं, it is supposed to be little bit a sour taste, not a sweet taste. Yeah, so that means the sweetness is the main culprit. If it's little bit mixed with the sour, definitely you can take them. Again, the portion is important. And what everyone is very much reluctant and okay, skeptical, why, how much very small piece of arm would work for me. You can mix your mangoes with curd, make a lassi, mango lassi. You can make mango with nuts, mango
Milk shake.
mango shake. And once you, definitely mango shake and yogurt lassi without sugars will going to help you out to relish the taste of the mango and at the same time your glycemic responses
I
also.
think I have a quick
Madam, thank you very much. I just want to know that this time there are concept that it is the total carbohydrate content which is more important rather than the glycemic index. Glycemic load is more important. So all these foods can be consumed freely rather than just saying that you don't take half of mango or 1/4 of a slice. If you take one mango and do your blood sugar before and 1 hour, 2 hours after that, there is no change in the blood sugar plasma glucose levels. So I think this concept we are trying to hypothecate more rather than on the movie or being on the practical aspect.
I will take a next part of your talk. Glycemic load is what? It is the glycemic index with the amount of the carbohydrates, right? So glycemic load won't be possible unless you know about the GI, right? Like simply watermelons. Watermelons have a very high GI, but the glycemic load is very less. That is around 4. So you can have them, but that doesn't mean that you have 1 kg of watermelons. The problem is this: if you have more of water content, more of the fibers in that food, no matter glycemic index is high, you have to have. Again, मैं mangoes के बारे में बात करूँगी जो आप देसी mangoes कहते हैं, sour taste, and if you see that उसमें रेशे बहुत होते हैं, there are a lot of fibers, that reduces the glycemic index, and so do the glycemic load. So I'm very rightly saying that glycemic load is the actual accurate term to be used for taking the glycemic response, but GI, you won't be using that GI part.
Actually, sir,
Yes.
it is a religion in Gujarat to eat mangoes here, both in
Manipur में भी है.
lunch and dinner. And all of the diabetic patients come with uncontrolled diabetes in this mango season. Whatever said, all of these patients come with uncontrolled diabetes after consuming mangoes at lunch and dinner. Because it is a religion.
I think I have a quick question. We have varieties available in this part of the country. एक देसी आम हो गया, एक दशहरी आम हो गया, एक लंगड़ा आम हो गया, एक चौसा हो गया, फिर एक महंगा आम हो गया, एक महंगा हो गया कंजर आम जो डॉक्टर नंदिनी खाती है. Alfonso is consumed by Dr. Nandini. So can you tell briefly about glycemic index of the available mangoes?
Fancy mangoes have a definitely low GI, so they will be a choice for most of the people who are with health frequencies. But definitely, I would say desi aam is the best one.
सर मेरा लास्ट क्वेश्चन है मैडम से कि हम लोग जो है ना वो दाल में कच्चा आम डालते हैं तो उससे कोई फर्क पड़ता है कि
Sir, definitely. Glycemic index raw mangoes का वैसे ही कम होता है. Don't worry about it. You can have as much as you want. And the proteins always, whenever you add starch, carbohydrate and proteins, definitely the glycemic need.
आकाश पके में दम है.
content of wine. And moderation is very important. It cannot be beyond 2/3 of a cup, which is not more than 1 serving. And choose the variety of mangoes like Langara and Totapuri, which is low index and not alpha, as we were talking. And eat it right. Have mangoes with nuts, seeds, avocados, so that sugars won't spike. And opt for the whole fruit. Avoid milkshakes and juices with sugar. And check your sugar levels too after consuming that how much sugar. At least you can try it once so that you know how much sugar increases after making it. Nuts नहीं खाने चाहिए.
आटा कोई नहीं है ऐसा पार्टी क्या करना
तो perhaps too much of everything is as bad as too little. So thank you so much for such a nice family discussion.
So, one thing I should say before the conclusion. See, yeah.
Ghee is not at all bad, should be taken, most advisable. Only thing that you do not have to take simple carbs with ghee. If you are taking ghee in small amount also, don't take simple carbs with it, otherwise it will be dangerous. If you are not taking simple carbs with ghee, ghee is one of the best things to consume.
So we have got a ghee session around 6 o'clock. So the ghee session is also there. One thing is I should appreciate from the organizing committee is in any conference you go, the most of the topic will be revolving around SGLT2 inhibitors, DPP-4 inhibitors, GLP-1RA, that study, this study, all we'll be discussing day in and day out. Every conference is the same thing. When I got the invitation and I was part of this panel decision, one is this session, another one is coming up, it is a mango session. I was totally surprised, I was taken aback that this is totally new. Since you don't believe from last 7 to 10 days, every day the work is mango, rice, potato, mango, rice, potato, oil. That made me read more and more of research has been done. So many things I learned in fact actually.
Another thing which I want to say more about what Dr. Ravidas said is, next time we should have the physical varieties of different potatoes and mangoes so that all the audience and we also can identify.
in the menu.
Definitely, I would appreciate the way the KiddyCon has taken the nutrition as a very important component, and the whole one hall is only for the diet. And I'm being a clinical dietitian, I'm very much thankful that you have done this. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, and all the chairpersons for this wonderful session. Now it's a time to take out the check for the